So at least for me, what it comes down to is number one, the 30K area is just like epic support between 25.5 and 30K 0.5. That's the low from the bull market when we had that big kind of dip in between the 65 and 69 highs. And so on a psychological point, that is your wall. That's your brick wall, your stone wall, whatever you want to call it. So this is the big test for me. I still don't believe that the low is in yet, but if we were to get above 30,500-ish and actually hold there for, let's say, a week or so, then I think at that point, you got to start talking about Bitcoin low being the 15.7 level, and that could be in.
Gareth Soloway has gained a reputation for his expertise in macroeconomic analysis, technical chart analysis, and providing trade signal alerts. Bitcoin has shown remarkable growth this year with a 70% increase in current trading over $28,000. If the Bitcoin or USD pair manages to break through the $28,950 resistance level, it could lead to further appreciation with the possibility of reaching $29,200 or even $30,700. Gareth Soloway believes that investors may have turned to Bitcoin as a safety play in response to the fear caused by banks in the short term. I think we're seeing these flashes of what Bitcoin can be, this amazing asset that is a protection asset against other issues in the global sphere, but it's not quite there yet. However, some experts are predicting a decline in Bitcoin's value, with Soloway anticipating a drop to less than $13,000. He noted that historically, Bitcoin's value has fallen in tandem with the stock market during economic downturns. Thus, if the S&P experiences significant losses, Bitcoin is likely to be affected as well. Despite this, Soloway remains optimistic about Bitcoin's long-term prospects, predicting that the cryptocurrency will recover and continue on its growth trajectory after an initial decline caused by the current banking crisis and a potential stock market sell-off. Before proceeding further in this video, make sure to click on the subscribe button below to stay updated with our latest content.
All right, so basically what I was referring to is this area back here where you have the midpoint of that bull cycle in 2021. And look at all these lows here. So psychologically, that is a major hurdle to get back above. And you can even see over here how we held it, and then finally it gave way. So on the reverse side, now we're underneath, we're hammering from the bottom side. So for me, this to me is like probably the biggest level in the Bitcoin chart from high to low in terms of, can we get above it or do we fail and start to trend back down? So that's why I say, like, for me, at least, it's a small short position. Nothing crazy yet. I might add around 30,000, but if it breaks above, that's a different story if it's able to hold above. But right now, this is like the epic level of resistance.
Yeah.
Mine is like, so I'm short right here, right? And the kicker is this, is like, am I going to hold it to new lows? No. Like, smart traders don't do that, right? Here's your first support at 25,000. It comes down here, I take a little off the table. Comes down to this next level, I take a little off the table. I probably even go long for a quick bounce. So again, it's traders, when you have the charts to your side and you do the same thing, you just play the levels. You're neither a bull nor a bear. You're just trading back and forth, and it's honestly very freeing, because when you don't have a long-term bias, you end up making more money in the short term. I mean, that's really the essence of it. As much as I've been saying it would go down from that high level of 69, like, I'm ultimately a long-term bull. It's just I've been around the block enough, and I've got scars to prove it, that things just don't go straight up, right? I mean, that's just not the way human psychology works within the market. So you might as well take advantage of it, right?
According to Soloway, by 2024, I would actually say we'll get well above $3,000, maybe $3,500, said Soloway, who expects prices to reach $2,100 by the end of this year. While gold enthusiasts believe that the precious metal will surpass its previous record high of $2,074.88 by the end of 2023, the real surge is expected in the following year. The EVA 50 reinforces the anticipated upward trend, despite potential temporary fluctuations caused by stochastic negativity. Soloway pointed that we will see inflation that is somewhat lightly elevated, but it's not going to be at the levels that it was over the last year or so, and with gold really starting to play catch-up, the miners are going to do really well over the next couple of years.
So this is the daily gold chart, right? So we have a pretty nice pendant, wedge, whatever you want to call it. Notice how it's consolidating above this down-sloping trend line too. So that's kind of, to me, that's kind of setting up for the next breakout, which then takes us to this high pivot right here, which is you had on your chart too. That's at 2075. That'll be some resistance, right? You expect a small pullback there, but my guess is, considering how many times we've hit this level up here, at some point we pop through. And then the question is, how high does it go? Really, one of the best ways to play a gold breakout this year is actually by buying, in my opinion, the miners. And the reason I say the miners is because last year they underperformed, right? Inflation was sky high. The price of gold wasn't going up to compensate. So they were actually getting crushed on their margins. This year, you have inflation coming down, gold price going up. They should actually outperform. So
The dollar index, which measures the US dollar against 6 other currencies, declined by 0.46% as short-term Treasury yields plummeted. The Federal Reserve's rate hike last year caused significant strain on various sectors of the economy. The recent failure of Silicon Valley Bank raised concerns about potential weaknesses in the financial system, leading to a government-led rescue mission. Gareth Soloway warned that the last time rates were at similar levels, the entire economy collapsed. Despite the Fed's expectation that higher rates will reduce inflation and interest rates remain high, and there is the possibility of additional rate hikes. Economists suggest that the next potential crack in the economy could be even worse.
I'm in agreement. I do think it's about to break out in a major way. And again, it's still, if we do see the crisis expand, which it's hard to believe that it wouldn't, right? I mean, you have all this paper that was printed and it's all at like 0.5% interest, 2%, 1%, whatever it is. I mean, it's all garbage at this point. I mean, and how does that not spread? And these banks are sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars in losses that are paper losses. They don't actually have to report them because they're paper losses.
Right.
But I mean, and to me, it's going to create a chain reaction, right? So then the banks stop lending as much, which then creates the economy to slow even more. In fact, doing what the Fed kind of wants, although my guess is it'll overdo it. And then we get into a recession. We're in a recession. Inflation remains relatively elevated. And then it's a party from there on out.
Last week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell assured the public that the U.S. banking system is sound and resilient. The recent collapse of Credit Suisse and ongoing troubles at First Republic and Deutsche Bank have revealed that the global financial system remains vulnerable, particularly if the Federal Reserve continues to increase rates. Thus, it is understandable that Federal Reserve officials are focused on balancing their efforts to combat inflation with the need to prevent a financial crisis that could result in a U.S. recession. On this note, we conclude today's video. Do you agree with Gareth Soloway's perspective about market crash, rising inflation, and Bitcoin performance in current crisis? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this information helpful, then like this video and subscribe to our channel. We will bring you more updates in the future.